These are the Terra veggie chips that the Double X brought, and they brought a variety of Virgils. I chose the vanilla creme.
I chose the handcrafted orange.
I chose a handcrafted black cherry.
And I have root beer.
Handcrafted root beer too.
Okay. I didn't even look. Is it still running?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm starting the timer.
Alright.
So, and then I was talking and forgot to think about the answer to the question. And the question was, how many monkeys does it know?
How far?
Does Doulos reach? Yes. Well, all right. He sees everything in a straw, through a straw, so it's not like he knows everything, but you get from him that they are at least set up in two divisions. That Doulos is headquartered in this subsector, and they have been branching out, but he doesn't know how far. He's a guy whose territory is the Felbrig subsector, so that's primarily what he knows. That answer makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. But the universe is a huge place. We could get away from all this.
Maybe you could. If you leave this Felbrig subsector.
Uh-huh. Do you have a lot tiny here? Family? Girlfriend?
If you're asking Hewlett that, he would say no. He doesn't have any intention of taking his chances out in the cold, dark universe when he's got so good hair.
So good. That's why you're so happy all the time.
I'd be a lot happier if everybody wasn't coming around screwing it up all the time.
So is slavery legal?
I think he'd just give a no to that. Unless, in fact, he'd know what you're implying and say that the difference between slavery and Doulos is that Doulos, you signed up for it. In fact, you volunteered for it. You came for them.
Except I
Or came
didn't.
to them. Yeah, he knows you love to debate that one, and he's got no better answer than perhaps you're having an identity crisis, but that was you that signed. Maybe not the you are now, but the you were then.
So what does it mean to be me?
When I very first wrote this story, I had said that, as a matter of fact, it's even on the main Doulos page where I've linked to the YouTube series and the podcast. The tagline of this story is, "Who would you be if it were only a matter of choice?" And would you give up your life to avoid a fate worse than death, I believe is what it says. The way Hewlett sees it, yeah, you can, this is your big chance to begin life anew any way that you want, and when you say, but this isn't what I want, he just kind of skips over that part. That, why would you want more than this? Remember Jack's in his captain's log entry saying that it's life the way I like it. So I think I'll go ahead and because there are certainly, oh, by the way, he did mention, when he went into the captain's office, you mentioned that there's something alive in there. He did end up mentioning that later, another time that he was in a bad mood, about the Tibley in the office. The dead Tibley.
Oh.
And surely somebody asks, surely somebody asks what a Tibly is, and he describes it as an organism that has physicality in multiple little parts, but that it comprises one organism. They were little furry things about the size of your thumb, I said, and when you flipped them over, it had a little mouth and it had little clawed feet. And however many of them there are that comprise the Tibly, is always a constant. So like if two of them fall down a hole, they grow two more of them. And each one of them has a slightly different body chemistry to where they actually share nutrition and stuff like that. They have, yeah, go ahead. They have, it's even more than just a symbiotic relationship because it's not one organism and another. It is these things comprising a single organism. And that's why when you picked one of them up, it started shrieking and all these others started shrieking. For them, it's like you just reached over and boop, popped off their head, you know?
Thank you.
Let's see, there are slight differences between each one and therefore none are redundant, all are needed. When one has a deficiency of something, it is provided by another or more than one, exchanging long string proteins or whatever. He even at some point uses this as a comparison for Doulos Corp employees, that we're all needed, we've all got a job to do, and the best thing that we can do is to keep this organism alive because we all benefit when the company benefits.
I'm gonna go on like what skills we did.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment. Oh, that's true, we already dropped out, but yeah, I was planning on taking care of that this segment. I wanted to throw out a few other things that you guys have gathered of the last week. For instance, the fact that he's giving up secrets so easily.
It's probably because we're gonna get our memory.
Right? That's what I was gonna say.
Actually, I thought I was looking at it, but oh man, this is really annoying that I can't find that because he had some good things to say about it. So that's a bummer. Is there another question we wanted to answer before the event happens?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to ask him to keep on pushing on this. Does Doulos? I mean, it sounds to me that we're just cogs in a machine. That we exist for Doulos, for the sake of an institution to continue existing, that doesn't exist for its members.
Oh,
We exist for it, not it for us.
you're gonna start a union, in other words. Okay.
No, an institution that exists for itself has no purpose, has no meaning. An institution that exists for people that we share in, an institution isn't alive for its own sake. But that's what often happens with institutions, that they take over and have a life of their own, and it's faceless, it's meaningless. Do we need a business to continue operating? It's
Well-
not the same as a community, it's not the same as a nation, it's not the same as a ethnic group or a religious group or anything.
Let's think
a
about-
revolution with this one ship.
Let's think about what some of the things that Kralik said. He said that those who dared to even whisper about it said that the people who run Doulos are not human. And he said that at the same time that he asked you guys if you were human. And he, let's see, he said something about, he was asking you what is Doulos really up to, that they put themselves out there as a freight company and that sort of thing, but he doesn't believe it and he wants to know what's really going on. So, not that Hewlett would say any of this to you, but it certainly These are thoughts you would have at the same time as you think through these things. Who are the benefactors in this equation? And it seems to just be Doulos. Now, is it about acquisition of goods, property, and wealth? Well, don't know.
Power.
Yeah. Maybe they are working towards something big.
Who's in charge of Doulos? What's the history of the company?
Yeah, okay, now history he's not gonna know. But as far as who's in charge, I thought I had this all so neatly organized, and now I can't find things. Was that one of the hangout questions, though?
No. This is off the cuff.
No, that's perfectly fine. I just need to know if I can go to that page to find the answer, and obviously I can't. I think it was the day that he made some joke about it was probably a decision made by those computers at Doulos headquarters. And everybody looks up at him. He's, unfeeling, just always logical and dealing with the bottom line. And so fine. And then we'll say, so who does run Doulos? And he says, the people who run it. I mean, what do you mean? Do you think there's a big secret attached to it, that one of them was, a friend of Harvey Weinstein or something? I'm sure they're not very nice people, but I don't have a bigger, more mysterious answer for you.
I have no more questions.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Well, Eric.
I can move on.
Okay. So let's talk about those skills. What did everybody train during this week we've been remembering together? Oh, there it is. I don't get how I lost that little speech he gave about secrets. Although at one point when you brought up that he seems to be just giving you, have we not received a ton of information today? Things you've wanted to know for 2 years now. He says that these are not big secrets. Everybody in Doulos knows the stuff I'm telling you, and a lot more. This information is 1% of 1%. You have no idea how big this is. Besides, and maybe that's when Bosk jumped in and says, well, they could just wipe us anyway. And Hewlett says, that's right. If you find out something they don't want you to know, they can just wipe you again anyway. He would have pointed out, though, that having you re-wiped is not just, it's not like you're going to go back out to work the next day. It's going to require money, time, effort. An entire team is involved when you wake up in the hospital, etc., etc. So it's not just like it's not the default position it's not Men in Black, where they just flashy thingy you and then go on their day. When they decide to re-wipe you, it's a really big deal.
Yeah, they just flash you memory and make up something.
And also, he mentioned that I found it. I can tell you these things because no matter what, you will eventually go back to being content little slaves. I don't even know all the secrets. Nobody does. I only know the secrets I need to do my job. Everything in the company is secret for you because you've been with the company for less than 2 months. But there's plenty more secrets above me.
I have a plan.
Is that as good as mine?
Oh, we have plans.
What's your plan?
It's the one where I sneak in a detonator.
Well, let's catch up. You just dropped out of jump.
Okay.
It has been a week.
Okay.
And he tells you that you gotta wait 10 hours to re-engage the jump drive a second time. It needs cool down time. Usually, you guys haven't had to deal with it, because usually you drop out of jump, go to the system, go to the starport. By the time you come back out and you're ready to jump again, it's been a lot more than 10 hours. But it does have a 10-hour recycle time. And since it's nighttime, he suggests that we all go ahead and do our sleep shift. And in the morning, we will make the final jump to Nellius. And I expected you guys might have some things you'd want to say now that everybody's going to go to bed.
I have a plan for freedom. We have the Ming Mecha chip. Encryption, we know what kind of signals our comm cuffs are sending, so encryption is just a matter of running through all the keys. If this chip turns any computer into the supercomputer imaginable, any encryption that they would have for us would surely be cracked. And it's only a matter of time, no matter what. But especially with a chip like this, we could then, if we crack our encryption code, we could stop the signal that we're sending now.
You can't stop the signal now. It's from the Serenity movie.
Okay. And we could send a fake signal using the same encryption.
We could have it in the ship's computer so we can do some other big things.
And that might give us the space we need to confuse them to get out of Felberg. That's my plan.
We're gonna do it right now.
Well, I'm offering this plan as a suggestion.
But aren't they gonna know like immediately that we're off course?
I don't know. I mean, if we are sending a signal out, broadcasting a signal, it's not like, the only way you can pinpoint a signal is with multiple points receiving it and triangulating it. And it's not as if we jump, it's not like that's gonna be so easy. We can pretend we're being compliant while we're not.
I'm trying to look at the map.
We're on our way from Brindle to Nellius.
Mm-hmm. So
We can get out of that subsector.
assuming he made a 3-jump, you guys are right there when you come out of jump. And you now need to make a jump to Nellius.
We could jump out of the subsector instead.
Mm-hmm.
Although we'd have to have Hewlett's cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a ship that you could leave the subsector with that would not require Hewlett's cooperation?
We could try to salvage Ming's ship.
It's like
Yeah,
on
but-
fire and stuff.
That's
like-
all the way back though.
It's a week no matter what.
That's true.
We could become pirates.
But still, we'd have to get him to go back to Brindle.
Mm-hmm.
Unless,
we could announce we have the chip and people could come and take us.
Unless we just knock him out. Give him brain water to make him do what we want. I don't know if that will work.
Well, he already laid in the chorus, I think. We can't change it.
well, you have dropped out of jump though. So right now, there is no course set, everybody's heading for bed.
Well, it doesn't matter because he's gonna lay in the chorus and we're not gonna be able to change it.
In the morning.
Yeah, but that's in 10 hours.
So what do you think you would do to begin to enact your plan?
We would have to hook up. I mean, I'm the engineer. We would need Hera to get the chip to start trying to find our encryption key.
And what is she going to do with the chip?
Plug it into one of the computer stations and start running through all possible keys.
Is there anything that could go wrong with that?
Many things.
Well, if it's
It could take a
artificial
while.
intelligence, I don't know.
What
We
have
could-
you needed Hewlett's authorization for to do?
Almost anything.
We could.
Will our data pads work?
Could you connect the chip to it? There's no ports on it or anything.
We could knock him out and just like
What
use
about like a
him
video,
and-
like those video VR things?
What do you mean? We could make a VR scenario that he thinks
No,
is
no, no. Aren't there any like personal computers that we have?
No, just your tablets. Every computer is a ship computer, and Adama does not run this ship, so they're all networked.
I think what we should do is that I have detonated, we have C4 in just like a case to make it seem just a case of C4. I take 2 detonators, one that's real, and then if they scan me and find that I have a detonator, I can hand them the false one.
So you're talking about when you guys get to Nelius.
Yes.
The other
That's still a
option-
week from now, though.
The other option is we could try to convince him. And if he doesn't convince him, we could, when next time he's asleep, we could attach C4 to him. And so that way, even if we're blind, you can press the button. I don't know, that seems a little
But
extreme.
you'll just you just listen to button a lot.
Hope he's a heavy sleeper. That's actually an interesting idea.
Or strap him to a chair.
What if that just blow up? We have smoke grenades, don't we?
Yeah, from a submachine gun and a non-submachine gun.
We have
grenades.
stun sticks.
Mhm. Mhm.
We have
Stun
wooden-
sticks.
While
wooden
he's
knife.
asleep, go.
We have the. You could take the stun beads.
Yeah. Well, I also have a stick.
Well, the stun beads are better.
You think so?
Yeah.
But that's not gonna guarantee he hands over the ship to us.
No, when we get to Nelius.
I also have bungee cords.
It's gonna be
You
like
could.
that. Oh, we,
Worse.
also, during this jump week, I was hoping that, Bardat could make the grappling hook gun, make it so that it can support my weight and actually be more useful instead of going very slow up.
All right, fair enough. Bardak, would you give me an appropriate role? I'm guessing engineering.
Okay.
Is there like intelligence? Can that also be used?
No, we'll keep it to engineering. I don't want it to succeed anyway, so we'll see.
So that's a 9.
A 9? All right. He manages to modify it, but not by a whole lot. It will carry your weight. It will lift your weight, but you'd still probably better pack light. I know that sniper rifle keeps coming up in the slideshow. You can take that, but remember, it's why men had to travel so light, or one of the reasons, I guess, is because that grapple will only hold so much weight.
If you had that Falcata.
But fine, if you want to make a note somewhere that it will now it'll now work properly with your weight.
Okay.
But no, you're still not going to be able to carry all your stuff.
Could we later make it so it can?
I doubt it. Your engineer says that it comes down to a matter of how big of a motor you can actually pack into something that small, right, Bardak?
Mhm.
Well, can we put in a bigger motor?
Now you're adding to the weight. It's a perpetual problem of engineering. It's why we cannot travel the speed of light. All right, that's a bio break. We have probably 2, perhaps 1. And again, I have an event that I'd really like to happen.